Dear students, you are welcome to amino acid metabolism part 6. Today we are going to discuss on one carbon metabolism, which is very important in this chapter, very important topic in this chapter. One carbon group or groups play an important role in the synthesis of different compounds in the body. Amino acids participate actively in the transfer of one carbon units. The different one carbon groups commonly occurring in the biological system, and these are formyl, which is represented as CHO, all are in capital. Formimino group, that is CHNH with a double bond in between. Methyl, all of you know, we are representing with CH3. Hydroxymethyl, CH2OH. Methylene, CH2 only, and methinyl, that is CH with one double bond. So most of the one carbon transfer are promoted by three cofactors. What are those? Number one, tetrahydrofolate. Number two, S-adenosyl methionine. And number three, biotin, that is considered as a vitamin. Now tetrahydrofolate, which is in abbreviation THF, all are in capital, the coenzyme form of vitamin folic acid, and which is the most important component of one carbon metabolism. I'm telling about tetrahydrofolate or THF. All the one carbon units except methyl group are carried by tetrahydrofolate. Now methyl group are transferred by S-adenosyl methionine, which we have already discussed earlier, that is SAM, S-adenosyl methionine. The one carbon group is covalently linked to tetrahydrofolate at position N5 and N10 or both. Tetrahydrofolate, that is THF, carries one carbon group at 30 oxidation states, which are interconvertible. So most reduced states are methyl, intermediate, that is methylene, and most oxidized forms are formyl, formimino, and methinyl. Now coming to the point of how it is being generated, that means one carbon units. I am discussing about one carbon unit generation or generation of one carbon units. Amino acids are the major contributors of one carbon group or one carbon groups to one carbon pool. Number one, just look at the slide. Conversion of serine to glycine will produce N5, N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate. Glycine cleavage also contributes methylene groups. Number two, tryptophan, which contributes formyl tetrahydrofolate. Next, number three, histidine denotes formimino group to produce N5 formimino tetrahydrofolate. Right? Next, number four, choline and betaine, that is trimethyl glycine, contribute hydroxymethyl groups. The tetrahydrofolate derivatives carrying different one carbon group or groups are interconvertible. Now we are discussing about utilization, how it is being utilized, how one carbon groups are being utilized. Number one, N5 methyl tetrahydrofolate transfer one methyl group to vitamin B12 forming methyl cobalamin. That is also biologically very important. It then transfers the methyl group to homocysteine, converting it to methionine. okay, and which is already being discussed in methionine metabolism. In vitamin B12 deficiency of folate is also observed because of blockage in the transfer of methyl group from methyl tetrahydrofolate to B12 coenzyme, and this is known as folate trap. Now, number 2, N5N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate is involved with the conversion of UMP to TMP and of glycine to serine. Number 3, N5N10 methynyl tetrahydrofolate or methynyl THF contributes to C8 of purine ring structure. Number 4, N10 formyl tetrahydrofolate donates C2 carbon 2 of purine ring, and it is also involved with the formation of formyl methionine required for initiation of protein biosynthesis. Okay. Next, what are the polyamines? Polyamines are the substances that have multiple amino group. Putrescine, spermidine, and spermine are collectively known as polyamines occurring in biological system. So ornithine and S-adenosyl methionine, that is SAM or SAM, serve as the precursor molecule for polyamine synthesis. Ornithine, upon decarboxylation, produces putrescine, one of the polyamine. The reaction is catalyzed by enzyme ornithine decarboxylase. So this is decarboxylation reaction, and which is induced by steroid hormones. And this enzyme has a shortest half-life, about 10 minutes. And it is the key regulator of polyamine synthesis. Putrescine condenses with decarboxylated S-adenosyl methionine to generate spermidine and spermine. Now, coming to the point of what are the functions? What are the functions of polyamines? Number 1, they play an important role in the synthesis of proteins, proteins, DNA and RNA. Sorry. Number 2, they are required for cell growth or cellular growth and proliferation, stabilization of cellular organelles. Multiple positive charges of polyamines enable them to readily associated with or readily associate with DNA and RNA. And the last one, they also act as growth factors. So this is a comprehensive list of biologically important compounds produced by amino acid metabolisms. Okay, and where glycine is an amino acid which produces this many important biological components. What are those? Creatine, heme, glutathione, purine, and conjugated bile acids. Number 2, alanine, which produces coenzyme A. Serine will produce phosphatidylserine, ethanolamine, and sphingomyelin. Similarly, we have mentioned all other biologically important components which is being generated from different amino acids, right? Next. This is another list which shows the inborn errors of amino acid metabolism, where the glycine is related with the metabolic defect like glycine transaminase deficiency and defective renal absorption. Number 2, branched chain amino acids like valine, leucine, isoleucine, which we have discussed. The related diseases are maple syrup urine disease, isovaleric acidemia, and hypervalinemia. And respective enzymes responsible for maple syrup urine disease, branched chain alpha ketoacid dehydrogenase; for isovaleric acidemia, isovaleryl CoA dehydrogenase; and for hypervalinemia, the respective enzyme or responsible enzyme which is deficient is valine transaminase. Similarly, sulfur containing amino acids, all of you know, cysteine, methionine, cystinuria, cystinosis, and homocystinuria are the respective diseases which is uh, regarded as inborn errors related to sulfur containing amino acids. Now, histidine will produce histidinemia and respective enzyme deficiency, which is histidinase. Now, next, aromatic amino acids, where phenylketonuria is most common. The respective enzyme is parahydroxy phenyl pyruvate dehydrogenase, and neonatal tyrosinemia, alkaptonuria, albinism. These are common. And proline will produce hyperprolinemia, and the respective enzyme which is deficient is proline oxidase. So these are all about amino acid metabolism related inborn errors. Now we are going to discuss about the fate of the carbon skeleton of amino acids. The metabolism of individual amino acids are discussed earlier, and after the removal of amino group, the remaining part of amino acid, that is the carbon skeleton, is converted to intermediates of citric acid cycle and their precursors. And the conversion of carbon skeleton into major metabolic intermediates consigns them to one of the following fates. So what are the fates? Number one, oxidation by citric acid cycle to generate energy. About 10 to 15% of body energy requirements are met through the oxidation of amino acids. Number two, synthesis of non-essential amino acids. Number three, synthesis of glucose. And lastly, number four is synthesis of lipids. The carbon skeletons of 20 standard amino acids are converted into one of the 7 molecules, namely pyruvate, acetyl-CoA, acetoacetate, alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, fumarate, and oxaloacetate. Sometimes we use a term amphibolic. What does it mean? That is uncertain, which is used to represent these molecules owing to their multiple metabolic fates, depending on the point at which the carbons forms the amino acid enter into the TCA cycle and other central metabolic pathways. The amino acids are categorized either as glucogenic or glycogenic, both are same, and ketogenic. So now coming to the point of glycogenic amino acids. These are the amino acids, those these are the amino acids where the carbon skeleton is degraded to pyruvate or one of the intermediates of TCA cycle. What are the intermediates? Alpha ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, fumarate, and oxaloacetate. And these intermediates are capable of forming glucose through gluconeogenesis or neoglucogenesis. Okay. The second one is ketogenic amino acids. The amino acid where the carbon skeleton is converted either into acetyl-CoA or acetoacetate are designated as ketogenic amino acids. Fatty acids, ketone bodies, and cholesterol can be synthesized from acetyl-CoA. Acetoacetate itself is a ketone body. Just to remember that what are the ketone bodies? What are the ketone bodies? That is acetoacetate, beta hydroxybutyrate, and acetone. So it's better to say beta hydroxybutyrate first. The Next one is both glucogenic and ketogenic amino acids. The amino acid where carbon skeleton yields pyruvate or a TCA cycle intermediate in addition to acetyl CoA or acetoacetate. So these are in brief glucogenic, ketogenic, and glucogenic, ketogenic both. We have categorized all amino acids accordingly. So this is all about amino acid metabolism. Today we have completed amino acid metabolism in amino acid metabolism part 6. Wish you all the best for your exam, and we'll meet again with another chapter. Thank you.